participate. I'm glad the war is over. Any post-conflict phase, any transition is bound to be difficult for all survivors, for victims, for former combatants. The war should never be glamorised or repeated, but neither should the Republican involvement in it, the Army's involvement, the involvement of our patriot dead, be permitted by us to be criminalised or retrospectively delegitimatised. This is bigger than me. This is about us as a Republican community, especially in this city of Belfast. This is about our integrity and the just nature of our cause. That is why the Irish Republican Army, Ugly na Huireann, was known as the People's Army. I am proud of that army and of my association with it. I am not a militarist, and I never have been. But without the Irish Republican Army, without the proud Republican people who supported them, the nationalist people of this state would still be on our knees. We would still be second-class citizenship. So bear in mind that this relentless campaign against me is not really about me at all. It's yet another attempt to defeat our struggle. Ach tá muid cleachtatha leis na hionsaí seo, ní rud nua ar BA, ach a gcónaí seas muid ar od na cúise le héile, ní neart go cur le héile. Remember, those of us of my generation and younger, that during the war, the might of British militarism, of all of its machinations, of its prison camps and prison ships, and its unionist allies in the death squads and in the coercive political system, none of that could defeat the Republican people of this city. The millions spent by the NIO on black propaganda, on lies, on smears, on disinformation, and the efforts to criminalise our struggle all failed. Republicans stayed focused and strong and united. We stuck with our Republican principles. We persevered, we strategised, we planned, and we were active. And the People's Army, the Irish Republican Army, was an undefeated army when it took brave decisions to support the Sinn Féin peace strategy and to create the present opportunities for a new future. This society, the citizens of this island, especially in the north, would not be in this new place but for the dedication and determination and sacrifice of Republicans. So this campaign against us by the Irish News, the Sunday Times, the Tribune and others is not new. They did it in the 70s, they did it during the hunger strikes, they did it when I first stood with others for election, and in every election since then. They did it during the battle of the funerals. They did it when I was involved in talks with John Hume, and they've done it constantly throughout the negotiations and the peace process. Are we going to let them defeat us at this juncture in our struggle? That's the question for us, because that's what it's about. It's about stopping our development. So our focus immediately after this Easter break is to ensure that we mobilise and win the biggest Republican vote in the Westminster elections next month. Here in Belfast, we have a choice. Do we want a Republican to represent North Belfast and West Belfast? Do we want to stand and fly the Republican flag in East and South Belfast and harness all of those Republican votes that are out there to be motivated and mobilised? This party has a tried, experienced and trusted leadership. In early March, we demonstrated this by concluding an agreement at Hillsborough with the DUP, And we did this and have no doubts about how difficult those negotiations were. But we did this by facing up to the governments and the DUP and facing them down and making them live up to their responsibilities. Powers of policing and justice will be transferred next week. There will also be, later on, the transfer of other powers from London to Belfast, more powers moving from England to Ireland. Irish language rights also will be delivered on, and there's additional funding for the Changa. Ag tanis mo le yanu ogin, tamwij go homloin jiraha, kiartan agale, a cor contussi, and ahan rud a yananwij. This agreement is a staging post. More change is necessary, of course, but all of this is proof that this process of change is ongoing. And it's evident also in the work that's been done across the island to get investment in public services, in education, in roads and in rural communities. It's obvious in our defence of the elderly, our efforts to secure jobs and houses and environmental improvements and much, much more. And Sinn Féin will continue with this work by standing up for the rights of citizens. The kernel, the essence, the most important core value of republicanism, the rights of citizens. We've also made it clear, and I think we've been led wonderfully by Martin McGuinness, we've made it clear to the unionist parties that we're a partner in government, but we're no pushover. We want to work with the unionists, and this party is more active on grassroots issues and working class unionist areas of Belfast, which have been abandoned by the other